drug allows the brain to repair itself. We call it the cure. We're ready to move on to the next phase. This one.
This is wrong, Will.
This has the potential to change lives.
Some things aren't meant to be changed.
So there's a new Planet of the Apes movie coming out in which we are assured apes will rise. Now, I haven't seen the film yet, but I'm kind of trepidatious about it. Why? Well, because if you're a man of a certain age, 48 in my case, the Planet of the Apes movies, at least the original 5, are sacred texts, which have a very, very special place. Yes, the Tim Burton remake may have had some virtues, but in the end, there are just the original 5 movies. When I was a kid, the first Planet of the Apes movie I saw was Battle for the Planet of the Apes, actually the last of the 5. And I then had to go back and find all the others one by one and fill in the spaces. And over the course of 4 or 5 years, they became the most important movies of my childhood. Everything I knew about politics, I learnt from Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. And here's how it works out. The first Planet of the Apes movie, the classic one, the Charlton Heston one, the one that everyone's seen, is still a great movie. Still stands up really well, despite the fact that that movie now has one of the greatest plot spoilers of all time on the DVD case. Yes, the DVD case actually features a picture of the Statue of Liberty. Talk about plot spoilers. I get told off all the time for plot spoiling. They actually put the punchline of the movie on the front cover of the DVD. But you know what? It doesn't matter. The film still holds up. Charlton Heston is a great, strange, struggling anti-hero. The apes makeup is still really extraordinary. There was a famous story that around the same time Planet of the Apes in 2001 came out, and Stanley Kubrick was really cross because people didn't talk about his wonderful apes effect. Everyone talked about all the makeup in the Planet of the Apes movies, but not about 2001. The reason being, according to Stanley Kubrick, that people didn't realise that in 2001 they were guys in costumes. But obviously in the case of Planet of the Apes they did. Then, the second Planet of the Apes movie, for me, the best and most important, Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Now when this first came out, it had a AA certificate. That meant you had to be 14 to see it. I started watching the Apes movies, I was 10 or 11. I had to sneak in to see a rerun of Beneath the Planet of the Apes, and it's incredibly dark, really strange. After the first movie, another mission is sent out to find out what happened to the first spaceship. We venture into the Forbidden Zone, where we find an entire race of strangely mutated humans worshipping the Father, Son, and Holy Bomb. It's a movie which has moments of terrible outright horror in which skin is ripped off faces and strange pulsating flesh is seen underneath it. It is a horror movie. It's an apocalyptic movie. It's an Armageddon movie. It's a movie which ends with the end of the world. Then the series kind of becomes slightly more childish. There's Escape from the Planet of the Apes, in which a male and female ape escape just before the destruction of Earth, go back in time to the present time, back then the 1970s, and bring with them the seeds of apes rising. Now, this was a U certificate film when it first came out, and it was a little bit childish, a little bit funnier than the previous ones, a little bit more trivial. In fact, I would think you'd find that most Planet of the Apes enthusiasts think it's the one that you kind of generally gloss over, but it sets up Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, the most controversial of the Planet of the Apes movies. This is the one which is about slavery. It's about overthrowing the hated human masters. It's about rising up. It's about revolution. It has a finale which ends with Los Angeles in flames. It's filmed on the backlot of 20th Century Fox and in what's now known as Century City. And in fact, the first time I ever went to America, I went there with a paperback copy of Conquest of the Planet of the Apes and stood there on the spot where the revolution happens, reading from the book of Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. Then Battle for the Planet of the Apes. Again, a little bit of an anti-climax in which what we have is the battle within the primate community between those who believe in war, those who believe in peace, those who believe in obliterating the hated humans, those who believe in making friends with them. But it ends on a note of ambiguity. It is possible the future will still end in apocalypse, but maybe, just maybe, there'll be a different outcome. Now, I watched all those films when I was a teenager, but my obsession with Planet of the Apes continued into later life. Obviously, I watched the TV series, which was a little bit flimsy, but kind of fun. Then there was a spin-off comic book, which everybody had to collect. Then came video. And I have a very clear memory when video first came out, sell-through video, you could buy and own films that before you had to track down in the cinema. Fox released a box set of all 5 Planet of the Apes movies. And me and my very good friend Tim Polcat bought ourselves the box set of Planet of the Apes and sat up for an entire night watching all 5 movies back to back. By that point, we were in our 20s. We should have grown out of Planet of the Apes, but if you grow up with Planet of the Apes, You never grow out of them. Now, new movies coming out, who knows? Maybe it'll be great. Maybe it'll reinvent the series. Maybe it'll go places I'd never expected. Maybe it'll do strange and wonderful things. But you know what? They're going to have a hard job topping Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Now that is a scary movie.
You have no idea what you're dealing with.
They're not people, you know.